Welcome to DAX Machina, with your hosts, Naomi Finn, Steve Wildman Munrotis, and D.A. Roberts. Join us as we explore writing, books, authors, and all things horror. We will delve into the sightings, reports, encounters, and tales of monsters. We will also explore the writings of D.A. Roberts along with others in the horror genre. We will investigate the possibilities that monsters may not be safely locked away in the pages of books. They might just walk among us even now. Grab some popcorn and lock the doors. It's going to be a creepy journey. Welcome to DAX Machina.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to DAX Machina. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Well, with me tonight is my usual partner in crime, Steve Wildman Munrotis. And I apologize for the mix-up. We had to restart the show because our guest for tonight had some technical issues and wasn't able to join us tonight. So we won't be doing anything with the America's Stonehenge tonight. Since we don't have that, we're just going to discuss my books, Cryptids, and the tie-ins and things, the accounts that I've read that helped develop not only the characters but the stories that I've written. So, Steve, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, doing pretty well. I, as always, have nothing intelligent to say, but I'm going to talk anyway.
Well, I'm right there with you. Thank you, guys. We're already getting quite a bit of activity in the chat room.
Yes, it seems.
Yeah, quite a few folks. So tonight, folks, if you guys have any questions that you wanted to ask about the books, about characters, about certain points in the stories, this is the night you can just ask away. We are also going to be discussing the individual characters and the inspirations behind those characters, and we'll touch on some of the future books, but I don't want to go into a whole lot of details on anything that hasn't been written yet. But we will discuss anything you guys would like to discuss about the books that are currently in print, and I've also got some announcements that I'm going to be making about the audio books. So with that in mind, I guess I'll just go ahead and tell you guys about the audio books. Cam Buckner, who does the Dixie Cryptid podcast, is doing all of the Codename Wild Hunt books, but you guys already knew that. He is also going to be doing all of the Apex Predator series. So that's already dialed in. He's going to be working on those over the coming weeks. And he just finished Codename Wild Hunt Odin's Call, the first Codename Wild Hunt book. I approved it and sent it to ACX, and we're just waiting on ACX to approve it, and it should be available in the next couple of weeks. So we'll have another audio book out, and that'll be fantastic. And then there'll be others on the heels of that one, hopefully coming very soon. Also, Sal Passos, who you guys have seen in the chat room, who has his own podcast as well, is going to be doing the Lost Legion books, the two sci-fi books. He'll be doing Lost Legion, Perdition, Flames, and Blood and Honor. Patty says, "What's everyone drinking tonight?"
Apparently not enough, because DA just had a stroke mid-sentence.
I'm having a little bit of bullet bourbon. That's mostly for medicinal purposes because my throat's acting up. But I have mostly coffee.
I have absolutely nothing in front of me. It's sad.
Josh Dalton says Steve doesn't have anything intelligent to say until after 2 glasses.
That is a true statement. I just actually, there's still nothing intelligent to say after that. I just talk a good game.
Northwood says water there. Well, I don't blame you there. There's water in my coffee.
You know, when I went out to dinner tonight, I had a beer at the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and it was it a walnut wheat, I think they called it.
Mm-hmm.
Springfield Brewing Company makes it, and I wasn't sure what to expect. I asked what they had on tap. They rattled off the names of about 5 beers. Every one of them was an IPA except for that one, and I think it was called Walnut Street Wheat. But the thing arrived, and it was looked like Guinness. It was good. It was very tasty. And it went with a good rare steak there.
Richie Evans is good evening, y'all, and DA guess And DA guess, and did you listen to Bigfoot Odyssey 168 hours? I haven't had a chance to yet. That's on the plan. That's going to be a good one to listen to. Patty says, "I'm just glad you feel well enough to be here tonight, DA. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. It's been a rough couple of weeks to say the least, but yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Nick, thanks for joining us.
Well, after Nick's talk about the Mothman a couple weeks ago, I broke down and I watched a documentary on Amazon about it. Some creepy crap that happened as a result of that thing.
Very much so.
I knew about the Silver Bridge, but I didn't know about all the other stuff that went along with it.
Did you know Mothman was also sighted over Chernobyl? And there are reports that it was seen prior to the Twin Towers coming down, and it's been seen a lot here recently in Chicago, which I can kind of see that.
It's kind of a slow rolling national disaster right now.
Sal says he's feeling a bit better. I'm glad to hear that, man. He was having some teeth issues, so I understand that sucks, man. I hope you get to feeling better.
God, yes.
Now, Richie says, I just listened to it a few minutes ago. Real cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that out. I saw the show they did on Dixie Cryptids when they were talking about it, and it looked really good. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I think Nick sided with us there on Chicago's a vacation.
He's got a summer home in Chicago.
I'm picturing like a meme with the Mothman in the back on the famous drawing, with the big red eyes, and then the mayor just going.
That's funny.
Well, I gotta give a shout out since we're kind of connected a little bit with Scallywag Tactical. Gotta give a shout out to Craig Hart over there. Yesterday, my repaired privateer came in, and
Nice.
He did an awesome job on fixing that for me.
Oh, I love my privateer.
It's he put a new tip on it, so basically it's shorter than it was. It's a little different shape. It's pretty sweet. It's
nice.
It did a really nice job.
That's a good pocket knife. And just lesson learned, you don't use it to pry on anything.
Yes, for the record, if anyone's buying from Scallywag Tactical, their blades are made out of D2 die steel, which is extremely hard. It's also brittle. And so if you're a dumb redneck like me and aren't smart enough to use a staple puller, don't go prying staples out with it, because you will break the tip off the knife and feel like a dumbass. So fortunately, Craig is very, very nice and didn't make me feel like too much of a dumbass, and then repaired it for me.
Craig's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Scallywag Tactical, definitely check them out. I've got a couple of their blades laying around. This is one of my favorites. It's called the Valhalla.
I like those Kydex sheaths.
Oh, yeah.
Come in.
I like that one.
You got the Bounty and the Gunner's Mate, and I've just got the Privateer, but I'm very pleased with it. It's my new EDC knife.
There you go. And that thing is stupid sharp.
Oh, yes, it is.
If you ever had to perform an emergency tracheotomy, that's the knife to have. Margetti says, I have a spork.
If somebody sold like D2 die grade steel sporks, I would buy the crap out of that just to have them. They're going broke one blade at a time.
A tactical spork. That would just be too awesome.
Spork. Have you seen those tactical stabs? They come apart in like pieces, and like each of the pieces has got like a knife or a fire starter or a dagger. So you imagine like one is going to spork. They're like,
so when you have to sneak into KFC,
in case the shit goes down while you're in Taco Bell.
Yeah, gotta have that spork. Hey, that would be legal to carry in London, since you can't carry a knife.
Right, you can't
I've
carry
got
a knife. I would cut your heart out with a spork.
Was it that old movie with Alan Rickman, the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? When he
Yeah.
says, "I'll cut your heart out with a spoon," and then the guy's like, "Why a spoon, cousin? Why not a sword or a hatchet? Because it's dull, you twit, and it'll hurt more."
Dalton says Gerber makes a tactical spork.
Nice.
I'm a little concerned that the term tactical and spork are being used in the same.
Yeah, terms that don't necessarily go together. Jumbo shrimp, military intelligence, tactical spork.
Tactical spork.
That's hilarious.
Oh. I love it. We should not be allowed to be unsupervised.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if anybody's got any questions about the books, we're going to start jumping in talking about those. We thought we'd be idiots for a few minutes before we started getting serious, which is pretty much constant for us. But hey,
the whiskey's flowing, so there you go.
well, it just had about a shot worth. I'm just sipping it, so nothing serious there.
I'm not judging.
Do you remember back when I was researching Lakeview Man? And I know the whole Joe Bald thing, but do you remember I told you? No, it wasn't Lakeview Man. It was when I was researching Apex Predator, and I selected Will Gray Eagle's car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Charger.
That white Charger, actually, my old lieutenant from Greene County, Lieutenant Jenkins, he actually owns that car. It's a white '69 Dodge Charger, beautiful car. And him and his wife Martha were gracious enough to let me use pictures, of the car for like promo stuff. And Lieutenant Jenkins, James Jenkins, I don't know if he's in the chat tonight, but his wife Martha just recently passed away, and she was a wonderful lady. So I'm going to make sure that I'm still working on Lakeview 3. I'm going to make sure not only the Charger, but Martha makes a cameo in the books, and I'm going to dedicate the book to her.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so sorry to hear. And if you end up hearing this, Mr. Jenkins, just, sorry for your loss.
Yeah, hopefully he's listening to us tonight, but if not, I understand. But, I want you to know we're thinking about you, and you guys are, LT, you're family to me. So, well, I don't even have the words, but thank you for, being my friend, and we all miss Martha.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Yeah, let's change the subject before I get maudlin. I talked to him on the phone for about an hour yesterday, and I came out of the office teary-eyed. So it was an interesting time. I've known him for a long time. Yeah. Great boss. He was my lieutenant for years. Just a great guy. I'm gonna hook up with him here, hopefully in the very near future. I want to get some promo images of me with that car, possibly for book covers, or at least inside the jackets. I need to shoot a new author photo anyway, because the one I've got is old, and I need to get some really good quality photos. I would like to do one with me leaning against that car, or in it, one of the two. So I may have you go with me and take some good shots.
That works. Well, yeah, and I think between the two of us, we have enough tactical gear. We could make some of the pictures interesting too.
I think so. I've still got a plate carrier and heavy plates, and soft carrier and soft plates, and I've got a bunch of gear still.
Yep. Far too many handguns and a couple of ARs, and
there's never such thing as too many. Come on now.
Troy just asked if you're on Live PD.
No, I never made it on Live PD. They did cops filmed episodes with the Springfield Police, and then Live PD filmed with the Greene County Sheriff's Office. But I wasn't on patrol with Greene County when they did that. That was after I'd left.
Oh, there you go. Here's a
who was Wiley modeled after? That's a really good question. If you ask my wife, she'll swear up and down it's me. But the person I picked in my head when I created Wiley was Michael Chiklis from The Shield. It was just whenever I think of Wiley, that's the image I have in my head. I just gave Wiley a lot of very similar experiences to mine. We're both ex-Army. We both worked for sheriff's department, but there are a few other similarities, and my wife swears up and down that Wiley is modeled off me. But really, when I created Wiley, I thought of Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, I could see.
Thank you, Richie.
That would that's works. Knowing the character.
Yeah, Michael Chiklis is a good choice. Although now that Chiklis is getting up there in years, I mean, the guy's got to be mid-60s now. I think if I picked somebody that could pull off the role, I think I would probably pick Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy with a shaved head. I think he'd do a hell of a good Michael Chiklis, a hell of a good Wiley Grant. Werewolf says he thought it was me also. George Jennings says, I'll stick to my throwing stars. I have never been accurate with those things. I used to have a bunch of them when I was young, and I would practice with them all the time, thinking I was going to get good with them, and I never really did. I was always much better with darts.
I never had a knack for them. Of course, I didn't have the cool toys, though. Probably for the best. I nearly killed my brother with a lawn dart once, so,
We used to play that game all the time when I was a kid, and I'm surprised any of us survived to adulthood, because we instead of throwing them and then going down and throwing them back, we would stand at opposite ends from each other and just toss them back and forth. It's a miracle one of us didn't get one of those through a skull or the chest or a foot.
That's exactly how I impaled my brother's knee. He was at one end, and I checked from the other and went into the capsule of his knee. Yeah, that was a good, smart day. And that it was like they used to call it jarts, JRTS.
Yep.
And that was kind of like the 1980s version of the Squid Game. If you survive, you get the prize.
Yeah, you didn't keep score. When the only one, the person that could still walk at the end of the game was the winner. Sal Paso says, I'm very good with throwing axes and knives. I was always pretty good with throwing knives and axes, but I will tell you who was really good with throwing axes was my wife, Annette. Holy crap. I thought I was pretty good with throwing axe, but she showed me up pretty easily. Darts will kill, weeding out the weak and the slow. That was pretty much growing up in the 80s.
It's like you see the pictures.
You went out and rode your bike until sundown, and the survivors came home.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like the 1930s photos of like elementary school gyms. The monkey bars were like 15 feet off the ground, and
yeah, heck, the ones we had when I was in grade school were almost that tall.
Yeah, only the strong survive.
That's right. It's ultimate social Darwinism. Wiley was a fun character to create. I enjoyed Wiley, and I don't think I'm quite done walking the paths of my imagination with Wiley. There may be more stories there yet to tell. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I think one of my favorite parts about reading Ragnarok was just the fact that there were so many characters that had touches of real people, in them. And, knowing you personally at the time I was reading them, it was like, okay, so who is this based on? And who is this, and please tell me there wasn't somebody like this. And it was pretty cool. And of course, driving through, look at the locations.
Mm-hmm. I've got a couple of friends that still give me crap about killing them off.
Well, I realize that the day that I completely piss you off beyond fixing it, I will retroactively be removed from the universe.
People that love Steve's Pub and Grub. It just wouldn't be the same if it was Charlie's Pub and Grub.
You're supposed to be reading like the fourth or fifth, Wild Hunt book. It's just like, wait a minute. Wasn't that place called Steve's? Then they go flipping back to the other books. I'm like, no, that's it, Steve.
Little mass confusion. Sal says, DA, I purchased the Nightmare Hunter Uncanny Valley for Kindle. Any insights as to the characters you can give us without spoilers? The character of Sentinel is based on a real person. And I don't know if he's in the audience tonight. I know he had to go to Texas. He had a death in the family, so I don't know if he'll be joining us tonight. But Robert Miller, who is a good friend of mine, the character of Sentinel is based off of him. Jacob Hayes says, ODA, what's your favorite Ragnarok zombie? I like the Stalkers. I was the most proud of those.
Freaking Stalkers.
I've had more than one friend who is still in law enforcement call me and tell me that they had to get out of bed and clear their house with a firearm because after they read the Stalkers. I'm like, yeah, that you've accomplished something there.
Well, reading through the Ragnarok stories, they just kept getting worse. And you're going from like one type of zombie to the next, and then the shriekers show up. And I'm like, oh, that's scary as hell. And then the stalkers are like, oh, hell no. And then I won't do any more spoilers, but the next bigger, worse thing shows up. And I'm like, I quit.
One of my friends that still works at county told me that none of them freaked him out until the gorillas showed up.
Yeah, that's some nasty crap.
Yeah, the stalkers were fun because I really got to just kind of cut loose with those.
Well, and I think it was revolutionary for their time too. It's like if you're into zombie movies and all you've ever watched were the Romero films, and then you end up watching 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
And you see your first rage zombie, you're like, oh, what the hell's this?
I had that similar reaction the first time I watched the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I was sitting on the couch watching it on I think it was on Netflix with Annette, and the first time the zombies started sprinting after people, I looked at her and I'm like, zombies aren't supposed to be fast. They're not supposed to be fast.
Yeah.
That was a game changer. So when I did my zombies, I wanted to do more than just slow and fast zombies. I wanted other zombies. I wanted zombies that had more specialization. I wanted unique zombies. So I kept with each new passing book, I was trying to add something different, something wicked.
Well, I am slowly getting keep getting
You might be correct there, Naoma. Thank you. They keep getting freakier, and
call me out, Naoma.
Yeah, thanks, Naoma.
I've been working my way through Sean Chesser's Surviving the Zombie Apocalypse series, and I'm reading book 7 right now, and they're kind of hinting around that the zombies start to get some of their memories back the longer they're reanimated, and so they've shown some that can open doors. And so the main characters are theorizing now what would happen, how advanced are the skills that they can remember going to be, will they remember how to shoot guns? Will they remember how to do? And I was, laying there, trying to wind down for bed last night. So you probably should never read Sean Chesser before bed, but I was reading it. I was like, oh, the God, what if they can shoot? Oh, that's not going to be good. What if they can use weapons?
You just look down the road and there's a zombie truck driver coming down you.
Seriously.
Sal says the Shriekers freaked him out. And Werewolf 5674 says Shriekers just pissed me off. Mark Napier says the Shriekers remind me of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I can see that. Yeah, they're certainly the rats of the zombie world, ratting you out to the other zombies. Wiley figured out pretty quick that you need to shut them up fast.
Yeah, they remind me a little bit of the Strigoi on the strain, because they're very vocal.
The strain was a pretty good series.
I thought it was great. I love what they did with the vampire characters in there, and it was cracking me up when I was watching one of the episodes of it on the TV series when a character is converting to one of the Strigoi, and they pointed out very early that the Strigoi are completely asexual, you know,
Hmm.
and they have no digestive tract anymore, no sex organs or anything, and this guy's peeing and his junk falls off into the toilet as he's slowly turning into the Strigoi. I'm like, so that's how that happens.
That's pretty horrifying. Oh,
You have a bad day.
that is a bad day. Oh, it's Nightbot. I thought we just got a big comment. I'm like, hey, we got a big one. Nope, it was Nightbot. Yeah, if you guys are wanting to make sure we don't miss questions, you can do the Nightbot version, which is to put question in all caps at the beginning, or you can hit the $ at the bottom of the chat window, and that will pin your question to the top.
So, what made you decide to do the Norse lore along with the zombie series? I mean, it's not a big stretch to want to start doing zombies in like
Mm.
2011, 2012, because it was kind of we're just starting to see a sparked interest in that.
Mhm.
But why the Norse stuff?
Well, I wanted to do something that was unique. I mean, every version of the zombie apocalypse has been done. There's, it's radiation from space, like Night of the Comet, or some sort of government virus, like in some of the George Romero zombie movies, or sometimes they just don't say. And then there are others where it was like it was like radiation from like a nuclear blast that reanimated these corpses, or some mysterious fog that came in and the bodies started coming out. So pretty much every version you could imagine had been done of the zombie apocalypse. So I wanted to do something that was kind of unique, was kind of different. And when I was reading more into Norse mythology, I saw that they took the concept of undead very seriously. They've got about a dozen different names for different types of undead. And in fact, the classic image of a zombie that we think of, they would refer to as something called a draugr.
Mhm.
And so when I started reading about that, I was like, huh. And then I started reading about Ragnarok, and it said that during Ragnarok, Loki would lead an army of army of the dead from hell against the world of men. And I was like, well, that sounds like a zombie apocalypse. And knowing that Ragnarok is a cycle and it changes slightly each time, I thought, well, what if the zombies came first? And that led into Ragnarok, and that's the direction I went.
Hmm. Cool.
No, I have not seen that. If you got a link, I would love to take a look at it. That sounds like something pretty cool. Oh,
It's a little concerning.
yeah. Hopefully we can get that video. That would be awesome. But without Josh here, I may never figure out how to put it on the screen. Helenita says, Naoma, share. Definitely share. Naoma, send me the link and I'll see if I can get it put up. Let me find my messenger. Well, it's not here yet. So anyway. Werewolf 5674 says, I was working the streets during bath salts. I thought it was really happening. Yeah, I've run into that myself in my career. One night we got a guy in on bath salts. It took 6 of us to fight that guy down, and he beat the crap out of every one of us. And as soon as we got the cuffs on, he went into uh, excited delirium. His heart almost stopped. We had to rush him to the ER. He wound up being fine, but it just that bath salts does unbelievable stuff to people. But it was, yeah, he beat the crap out of 6 of us before we got him restrained.
Ugh.
If it's a werewolf, wouldn't it change to human if it died? Well, it may have been a dog man then. I don't think dog men change. I think dog men stay in that form all the time.
Hmm.
Oh, Naomi sent it to me. All right. I'm going to do a share screen so I can bring this up. I don't think I'll be bringing it up with any sound. Here we go. Oh, it's 27 minutes long. I I don't know if I'm going to watch the whole thing. I'll just watch the section with the. Okay, it should be coming up.
And of course, it would be a full moon.
I think that's a bear. I think that's a bear. We saw the back of the hips at the back. They're more set up for quadrupedal walking than bipedal. Well, it shifts positions here, but I think that's a bear. Yeah, look at the hips at the back. That's not something that's accustomed to walking on two legs, because they're splayed out like my dog does when he's laying on his back. If I had to guess, I would guess that's a bear. It's creepy looking, and it looks like it's lost a bunch of its fur. But I think I definitely think that's a bear. What about you, Steve? What do you think?
Well, it does look like there's hair missing. Yeah, if you look at the chest, it's kind of got that mangy look kind of thing. They almost said that some people think it's a mountain cat. I mean, given the fact that it is so bloated and decomposing, God knows. But it's still creepy as hell.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would think I think that's a dead bear, because if it was a mountain cat, there's no tail. Well, of course, you really can't see. It might have been submerged, but I didn't see any indication of a tail. It looks to me like a black bear.
I still wouldn't want to run across the thing.
Me either. AJ says he agrees that with me. Neoma fans as a gray bear. I think it's not necessarily so much gray as I think it's lost a lot of its fur, be that from decomp or maybe possibly mange, because mange will affect bears as well. You just don't see it often. Again, I'm no expert. I make no claims of being any kind of expert. I'm just some schmuck with a channel, and I think it's I personally think it's a bear. Without watching that whole video, Werewolf says bear teeth. Yeah, without watching that whole video, I would just hazard a guess. I think that's probably a black bear. I don't know where that was taken. I couldn't tell you exactly what species of black bear, but it looks like a black bear.
Yeah, it's gnarly looking, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly get my attention.
Yeah, it's not something I'd want to have chasing me on a dark night. Lots of stuff kills bears. Natural causes kills bears. Cleanliness is what kills bears. Dogman. Yeah, that one didn't look tore up. Without being able to see like all of its anatomy to see if it had been shot, or even see any of its back, because it was floating on its back. It didn't really look tore up. It looked like it had possibly died of natural causes or some disease.
Yeah, regardless, scary crap. Don't want to see it.
Have you seen the video of that hairless chimpanzee?
Yes.
That thing is terrifying.
Yep. The St. Louis Zoo has one that's hairless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I saw that one a few years back.
And he's just creepy. Mm-hmm. And then you look at how ripped they are. And I'm like, I like it better with fur, and I can't tell how ripped they are.
Yeah, it's a little less terrifying when it's not when it doesn't look like a half-size person with jacked muscles.
Right.
I think the quote from Annette was the one we saw in St. Louis. She said it looked like a little old man laying there sleeping.
Yeah, it's like Hugh Jackman in the Wolverine, the Origins film, where he goes tearing through the Alkali Lake place, buck naked, cutting everything up, and it's like, I'm not sure what's worse, the fact that he's buck naked or that he's completely jacked. frightens me.
Sal says, in The Awakening, you described the tension between corrections officers and law enforcement. Does that really exist? I can't speak of if it still does today, but when I was a corrections officer, it very much existed. The road officers looked down their nose down their nose at us corrections officers, but then they instituted a policy of starting to take road deputies from corrections staff, people that had corrections experience before they went to the road. And some of that kind of started going away a little bit before I left. But yeah, it was very real at the time I wrote those books.
See, if anything, I'd respect the corrections guys more because, they're dealing with all that stuff, completely outnumbered with nothing but pepper spray. The road officers have a small arsenal attached to their belt.
And they generally face them one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were a open. I'm trying to think of the word. I haven't even thought about it in a long time, but we were an open facility, which means the officers were in among the inmates, and I tended to work the violent offenders housing unit all the time because that's just where my lieutenant always stuck me. But a lot of times I'd be in there with just me for a 12-hour shift with 130, 140 inmates. And it got a little hairy sometimes.
Mm.
I read somewhere someone posted on Facebook that it said in your lifetime you will pass by at least 4 murderers. I'm like, I can blow that away, and it blew that away in an afternoon.
You didn't have to think too hard about where you found yours.
Yeah, no kidding. It was an interesting time. I mean, I was just thinking about it the other day. There's a lot about that I miss. I miss the officers. I miss the camaraderie, but I don't miss the inmates, and I don't miss the politics from the front end. And it was bad. And it was bad then, and it's gotten worse since I left. So there are a lot of people I miss, and there are certain aspects of the job that I miss, but I don't really miss the entirety of it.
Yeah.
Mark, you're absolutely right. Werewolf 5674 says, I've seen corrections versus street officers problem. It's the sheriff that controls that. Yeah, it was kind of the tone. Yeah, and it kind of came from the upper end. They everybody treated the corrections officers pretty much like redheaded stepchildren of the group. We were the afterthought. Anytime we got a grant for new equipment, it all went to patrol. We got the hand-me-downs. It was just outworked. Naomi says, the important part is to not look in the mirror in your lifetime and see a murderer. Absolutely correct. Hi, Kelly.
Mm.
Kelly Wilkinson says, IDA. Well, thank you. Appreciate you guys coming tonight. We've got a pretty good crowd tonight. Does anybody got any other questions about any of the other books? There's a lot of characters I can tell you about. I could give you some of the insights on where the origins of some of these characters came from. We already discussed where the 69 Charger that Will Gray Eagle drives came from, and we'll see more of that as the books continue. I'm currently working on a short story kind of as a side project that's called Dog Soldier. It's about Will Gray Eagle's time in Afghanistan, and as soon as it's done, it's going into a collection of short stories that's going to be published along with the Steve Lilly story. It's going to be called Codename Wild Hunt Operation Lily and Other Stories. So there's going to be a few stories in there that take place between books. So I think you'll get some pretty good insight on some of these characters. Naomi says, I'm struggling to keep my eyes open, guys. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Have a good night. Naomi, thank you for being here. I hope you get some good rest, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Give me a holler sometime, maybe tomorrow, and we'll get that other show programmed since we've got the guests that you have in store for us on Wednesday night. I don't want to announce it yet. We'll announce it later, but I would rather have you here to announce it, but we'll get that show up very soon. It's going to be a good one. A lot of the territory that you see in the Apex Predator books, there's places especially even in the Lakeview Man books, there are places I've been, places I've spent a lot of time in. For example, Apex Predator Horned Moon took place in and around Rockaway Beach, Missouri, which is a little town about 30 miles from here. It's a neat little place. I shot a video down there. It's not a very long video. I need to go down there and shoot a longer video, and I'm planning on going back to some of these places and shooting more expositionary videos about these places and locations in the books. But now that the weather's starting to get cooler, we'll see. We've also got to get our vehicle situation straightened out so I can actually start going to places again. But that's another story entirely. But we've got a lot of places I want to film at and places I want to show you guys.
So you need to give the van a send off in one of your books. So it's memorialized.
Yeah. Give it the old Norse Viking funeral goes up in flames.
I'm glad it didn't.
You and me both, because I couldn't have got out of it. Well, Steve, do you have any questions?
I always kind of wondered why you chose to incorporate the different Bigfoot characters along with the different Dogman characters. You don't see very often in cryptid fiction that combination. It's a Bigfoot story or it's a Dogman story. You don't see both. Mm-hmm. What prompted you to put the two together?
I wanted to do something that was kind of based on the old Choctaw legends of how the Bigfoot and Dogmen were age-old enemies and hated each other. But at the same time, I wanted to bring that into a modern setting and bring it here. So when I do cryptid stories, I want to try to always keep mixing it up. You'll see books where they do Bigfoot or in other series as well, but I want to bring in more of the legends. I want to do just more than just Bigfoot stories. I like doing the Dogman stories. I enjoyed doing Curse of the Windigo for the Codename Wild Hunt. And I don't think I've exhausted that. I may go back to another Windigo story in another group at some point. But that's not it either. I mean, there are other cryptids out there that are going to be eventually showing up, and we may see some of the smaller cryptids like the Chupacabra that may show up in one of the Nightmare Hunter books, because a Chupacabra wouldn't be much of a match for a Wild Hunt team, but it sure would be for one guy out investigating by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Wilkinson says the fact that you use local Southwest Missouri locations just rules. Well, thank you, sir. I wanted to showcase the Ozarks. I mean, this is where I grew up. It's where my home's been since I was born, and it's just something magical about the Ozarks. If you've ever been walking through the Mark Twain when the leaves are turning, or up on the cliff overlooking Ha Ha Tonka and looking out at oceans of golds and reds as the fall colors turn. There's just something magical about the Ozarks that just kind of captivates me. George Jennings says, what is a Windigo? A Windigo is a Native American legend. Basically, it's the spirit of hunger, a ravenous hunger. And during times of extreme lean hunger and starvation during the wintertime, if a person were to resort to cannibalism, they would be infected with the curse of the Windigo. And then they become a voracious spirit that is never, ever satisfied. It's always looking to consume. It's the spirit of starvation, the spirit of hunger. And it can possess people. And it's very there was even an execution done in the 20th century in Canada. One of the last ones that was done was a hanging, a guy called Swift Runner, who had eaten his family and claimed he was possessed by the Windigo, and they hung him. But the spirit of the Windigo is something that especially the Algonquin nations take very seriously. But the Windigo creatures have been sighted in Colorado, all through the Northeast, all through Canada, up in the Great Lakes area, just pretty much anywhere where winters get really, really bad. Generally mountainous regions or heavily forested areas. But the spirit of the Windigo is the demon of ravenous hunger. Hooters Transport says, I remember a Marvel comic book character called the Windigo in the 70s, I think. I remember the Windigo. The Hulk fought the Windigo. Wolverine fought the Windigo. And it was kind of a touch on that Native American legend, but it wasn't quite the same. It was more of a rampaging beast like the Hulk in the Marvel comics. It didn't really talk about it eating people, because Comics Code Authority probably wouldn't have ran that through in the 70s. But it was based on that same Algonquin legend, but it was more of just a mindless monster like the Hulk in the comics. Kelly Wilkins says the Swift Runner case was on Monsters and Mysteries this afternoon. Yeah, it's a good story. Basically, the Swift Runner story is this guy wanders into an outpost, claiming that his family had all starved to death during the lean winter, even though he was just a few miles away from a trading post. But when he arrived and claimed that his family had all starved to death, he was, shall we say, a robust and healthy, 220, 230 pounds. He was not by any means, he didn't look like he'd missed many meals. So after confronting him about it, he took him back to his cabin where they discovered the remains of his family. It was his wife, his mother-in-law, and several children that he had killed and eaten. They found all the bones in the cabin, and it was clear they'd been gnawed on. Many of them had been broken open so he could get to the marrow inside. And he was tried and executed for that.
That's crazy stuff. I was watching a series on the Travel Channel called "These Woods Are Haunted," and it tells different stories of things that have come out of these scary woods or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there was a case that I was watching yesterday that was clearly a skinwalker situation, and the guy they were interviewing was some kind of an indigenous person. He never said what tribe or that he was, but you could just tell by just his culture and everything. And so they wouldn't refer to them as skinwalkers. They kept on calling them shapeshifters. But they were talking about how even speaking their name could link them to you. And
that sounds like it was probably Navajo. The Navajo will not say the name.
Well, it was scary as hell, and he had some interesting photographic evidence of stuff. As it was following him back to this cabin, he was shooting digital photos behind him, and some of the stuff that got picked up on the camera. I was like, yeah, let's not watch that before bed.
Yeah, in the Navajo language, a skinwalker is referred to as a Yi Nadalushi. Yeah, they're pretty terrifying. George Jennings says, I'm part Iroquois, but I had no clue what that was. Yeah, I definitely you might want to do some reading about it. I could give you a few links if you would like. Just contact me sometime when the show's off. I'll be happy to give you a few topics to read. But you can find YouTube videos on it too. The Windigo is pretty terrifying.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to see the Wild Hunt team or maybe the Apex Predator team come across a skinwalker, and I think it would be really interesting because they're most of the other things they encounter. Yeah, they're cryptids, but they're pretty finite. Once you figure out what a gugway is capable of, you can basically load for gugway. And same thing with the dogman and everything. With the fact that the shapeshifters are so by definition variable. It would be very hard to set up a good loadout for it.
Yeah. There's a very specific set of circumstances that they would have to do in order to kill a skinwalker, and regular weapons wouldn't work. So that might be something having to do with the Apex Predator series. That would make sense right in their wheelhouse, so to speak. So yeah, I might have to do that. I like that idea.
Well, and it'd be kind of neat to pitch the capabilities of their in-house shaman with one of those.
See how Jason stands up against one.
Well, I was thinking Jason and the woman. I've forgotten her name.
Winter,
yes.
Or Jay, White Bear.
Of course, Winter's a part of the Wild Hunt team, though, isn't she?
Yeah, she works with the team.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason's pretty capable. I certainly have faith in White Bear.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to medicine, man, yeah, he's pretty badass.
Yeah, he's scarier than anything else out there. Northwoods is on his X again. Special kind of evil, his X. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And in order to become a skinwalker, they have to perform something so vile that it basically taints their soul. And then once they've been corrupted enough that they can become a skinwalker, they can take on any form, being from insects to birds to wolves to coyotes to just anything they choose. Sometimes even something in between. Was looking to see if there's any other questions in the chat. Well, here's one for you, Steve. You've read all of my books. Which one's your favorite?
You know, I have a couple that I'm very fond of. I really like the second of the Wild Hunt stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I think probably all out, that's probably, if I had to pick one favorite. But I really like Horned Moon. Is that Epic Predator 3 or 4?
Horned Moon is 4.
4. That's where you introduce the vampires, right?
Right. When you first meet Logue.
I was gonna say I really like this. I like the banter with Logue and the group from the Vatican. That whole group of characters, I think, really entertained me. And I think what makes the Wild Hunt story, the Curse of the Windigo, so much of a favorite for me is the thing was just I never at any point through up to the end of the story knew how bad it was going to get. And just with that opening up with Doc, talking about it having angry sex with a snowmobile, kind of set a tone, and then it goes and flips when they go to engage it with the Chiatanka.
Chiatanka.
The Chiatanka. It covered all the it had all the fan service that you wanted from somebody that likes to read your stories. I enjoyed it a lot.
I'm glad you like those. Mark Napier says his favorite's Lakeview too. That was a fun one to write too. I'm sorry, folks. I keep getting that tickle in my throat. It will not go away.
Yeah, Clark's wife has become quite a character in her own, and she's a very interesting. Was it Amanda? I think she's a very interesting character.
She's a firecracker.
Oh yeah, I like how she keeps the little chauvinistic men in her department in line.
She's not afraid to call somebody out either.
Mm-mm.
Werewolf says the first Wilderness is his. Yeah, allergies suck this year. The first Wilderness is my favorite. It was very military. First Wilderness or first Wild Hunt book? Codename Wild Hunt. Odin's Call, maybe? I don't think I've got one. I don't have one called First Wilderness. Yeah, I think he means the first Wild Hunt book.
He got autocorrected probably.
Yeah, autocorrect is like the bane of my existence. I'll be typing, and I'll be trying to type something, and Mark says, "Made me look at the woods a different way." That's awesome. I'll be typing, and I'll look back up, and I'm like, "I never said that. God dang it!"
Seriously,
do not presume to autocorrect me, you stupid program.
No, it's like having your own editor with you, who's methed out and only half paying attention,
and has a whole different direction where you want your story to go in.
Yeah. You see, most people don't need to deal with that until they sell something to a production company.
Which I would love to do. I'll keep my fingers crossed on that one. That would be pretty fantastic. I think, from my standpoint, though, I think one of my my favorites that I wrote, of the ones I wrote, I'm gonna just that first Apex Predator book is gonna be one of my favorites. Apex Predator Wolf Moon, because that one was just so much fun to write. I really got to dig deep into Native American lore with that, and that was right about the time that we knew it was just a matter of time till I lost my uncle Buddy, who was the inspiration behind White Bear. He had Alzheimer's at the time I wrote that, and I really got to go back and revisit a lot of those memories where he told me stories, and that one was just a fun one for me to write. I really enjoyed writing that one, and Jay Matoska is just my absolute favorite character. I mean, of all the characters that I've written, including Wiley and all of the ones from Ragnarok Rising, Matoska is just my favorite because there's so many fond memories attached to that character.
Yeah, he's a badass.
He's a unique guy. And if anybody's wondering about the origins of Gideon, he was dreamed up at while playing Cards Against Humanity at your house.
Yep. I remember. It was kind of fun to be part of that, and it was funny as we're pouring heavy-handed drinks and talking about your books while playing. It's like, oh, but have him do this. Oh, but what about?
I knew I wanted to make him have a deep history far beyond the books. And we were just bouncing ideas, and I said, "Hey, how about this?" And you were like, "I'm like, oh, we're on to something here."
Hey,
I don't want to,
Mark.
Yeah, Mark gave it away. I didn't want to give it away for anybody who hadn't read them yet. He doesn't even reveal that for several books.
Yeah, he's a very fun character, and I can't get past him. I love how you bring him back, when he dies or what have you. I remember, a few years ago when Torchwood came out, and I thought it was great when Captain Jack Harkness in there would resurrect, and he would always wake up with a gasp. And I always thought it was kind of interesting. And then when Gideon did it the first time, I'm like, oh, I love it.
And then plays it off like, what? No, I wasn't dead. I was just resting.
Yeah, I was resting my eyes. Yeah, I love it.
I knew when he was that old, I knew he had to have a history with Jay Matoska too.
Yeah. Well, there's still some questions to how old Jay Matoska is.
Yeah, he hasn't really given his full backstory yet.
No. I think there's more to that man than meets the eye too. And it's going to be a fun couple of years. These next few books.
I got a lot planned. I've got basic story ideas fleshed out and outlines drawn up on many of the ones, but I've got plans for the next 25 books, and there are going to be others that are going to have to be worked in somewhere in there. I keep coming up with other ideas like, oh, I need to do this. And then earlier tonight, I was talking to Mark Napier, and we came up with another idea for a story. I'm like, oh, that's got to get shoehorned in there somewhere. I need to do that one too. I don't want to give that one away until I'm closer to writing it. But yeah, it's going to be more historical, but it'll still deal with cryptids. And he says it more and more every day. Yeah. Hooter Transport says Gideon has a cross to bear. Yeah, you can. That's an interesting way to put it. I just kind of got to experience Codename Wild Hunt kind of again for the first time, even though I wrote it, because I had to, in order to approve the audiobook, you have to listen to the entire thing prior to releasing it to ACX. So I just, over the last 3 or 4 days, I've been listening to Cam's narration of the Codename Wild Hunt. And other than a few pronunciation issues, which I didn't gig him on, I just let him go because it's very much Cam. But anybody that's read the books will get the will know they'll know what he means. I mean, it'll go without saying that's what he meant. His just some of his pronunciations just kind of cracked me up. I let those go, but it was still fun to hear my story narrated by him. So look for that one coming out hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Generally, ACX gets them done usually in a month or less, unless they're backlogged. And I haven't seen anything about them being backlogged lately, so hopefully they're caught up. That would certainly help that one get released much faster. So hopefully before the end of November, hopefully before Thanksgiving, we'll have Codename Wild Hunt Odin's Call out in audio, and hopefully the others will be following fairly shortly on its heels, because once Cam started rolling on them, he's recording them pretty fast. And of course, Sal is working on the sci-fi books as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing those. Those are going to be good. Yeah. Kelly says Cam's a country boy. Yes, sir.
I love it. No, I have trouble getting into audiobooks just because the fact they never read fast enough for me. I read very quickly, and I get too caught up. I would get in trouble if I was listening to a book while driving, because I would get too wrapped up and I'd be distracted, and it would cause a serious problem. Until I get an auto driving car, I've got to watch it.
That would be a little terrifying if you're not used to seeing auto driving cars. See a car running at 60 miles an hour down the road and the driver's reading.
Seriously.
That'll mess with your head. Jacob Hayes says, are there alligator cryptids like Dogman? Just wondering. There have been sightings of lizard-type creatures in the swamps of South Carolina, and also in the swamps of Louisiana. There's stories of gator men that walk on two legs, both of which are pretty terrifying. But I may be revisiting the gator men story at some point. But yes, there are a number of tales of bipedal lizards running around. Kelly Wilkins says audiobooks are essential for long trips to cons. Well, hopefully this coming year, I'll be able to start doing a lot more conventions again. I know that's the plan. We didn't do any the last couple of years because of the Black Plague of the 21st century, but hopefully things are slowly getting back to some semblance of normal, and we'll be able to start doing shows again. I want to do some of the Bigfoot conferences, and I also am going to be doing sci-fi and fantasy conventions as well, because that's really where I cut my teeth. I spent more time going to sci-fi conventions than I ever sci-fi and sci-fi and fantasy conventions and gaming conventions than I ever did going to Bigfoot conferences. I've only been to a few Bigfoot conferences, never as a guest, but hopefully that'll be changing. So we'll have to see. Kelly says Historicon is this weekend. Where's that at? I haven't even heard of that one. Hopefully my wife's paying attention and writes that one down, because I've never even heard of Historicon. She's always looking for new venues. Oh, yeah, VisionCon. Yeah, VisionCon, that one's coming up. I haven't done that one. Well, back in 2017, I was a guest at VisionCon. That was a lot of fun. I got to hang out with Shane Moore at that one, which was a pretty good show. If you guys remember, we had Shane on as a guest a few weeks back, and he was about a hoot and a half.
Oh, he would be fun to hang out with.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude. I've got those I found those pictures of me and Shane, if I can find them. Give me a second, I will locate those. Where did those go? What the heck? Oh, no wonder. Okay, give me a second. I'm trying to Search the wrong thing. Here we go. That's me and Shane. Back before when I was still with the county and they wouldn't let me grow a full beard, we could only grow a mustache. So I had that ugly stash for a long time.
Porn stash.
Yeah, the porn stash. Here's my what we used to refer to as the death photo. That was the one that would be released to the news if something were to happen to you on the line of duty.
The death photo.
We had a morbid sense of humor about it. Because they tell you when they take you, well, try to look serious. I guess if something happens to you in the line of duty, they don't want to picture you going.
Yeah. Kelly called it a molestache.
Yeah, it's been called that a few times.
Oh, speaking of death photos, did you hear about what happened at our favorite English pub the other night?
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here in town, man. There's an English pub uptown called
The Downing Street Poorhouse.
The Downing Street Poorhouse. And I just had lunch there like the other day with my old chief from out at Walnut Grove and Rich too. We met up there and had lunch just a few days ago. And then they see on the news, I guess some guy, I don't even know what his problem was, went out to his truck, got a gun and started shooting at people. And
yeah, well, he's basically he was being a drunken disorderly in the pub, and so they called 911 and asked him to leave. He went out to his truck, got his gun, and hightailed it towards the Barnes and Noble, I think. And he ended up a parks officer responded, and he shot the parks officer multiple times, but the officer's going to be okay. And he chose to do that about the same time that 2 Springfield PD officers responded, and they decided to return fire, and he didn't do so well.
Yeah, well, it makes a big difference when you're wearing body armor and you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Mark Napier says in Kentucky we shoot back. Yeah, we tend to do that here in Missouri too, but Lenita says, interesting man I met at Sturgis is Bert.
There's more to that story, I think.
Yeah, I think we're missing some context there. Sorry.
Oh, Kelly said that was reporting Kansas City. Well, yeah, it floored me because I live way too close to that place.
Yeah, that's not too terribly far from here. And the fact that I just had lunch there the other day was kind of like, holy crap! I was just over there.
Yeah, you don't like it when there's a officer-involved shootings at one of your favorite pubs.
No kidding. They have Guinness now, by the way.
Yeah, I do. There was a little bit of shade from certain authors I know when they didn't have any. So
yeah, it was pretty good. I had shepherd's pie and Guinness there. Let me see if I can find the pictures.
Kelly, the park ranger, they said that he's has non-life-threatening injuries,
Okay.
But I don't know anything more than that. I know he was taken to the emergency room and was hospitalized, but he's going to make it. But I feel kind of badly for the officers that are on administrative leave now because you've got all that self-doubt and then you're waiting on will the prosecutor press charges against you and
Yeah.
I don't know how law enforcement does that.
Well, it makes me kind of glad I'm out of it anymore.
Yeah.
Let me find the pictures real quick and I'll show you.
Oh, of your trip to the pub?
I think you'll get a kick out of this.
A Rich in the Crown Royal chair.
That's my old chief on the ground in front of Rich, acting like he's begging the king.
Oh, Rich's got this shit-eating grin on his face.
Yeah, he's holding my cane. I was leaning against the throne. I'm like, here, hold the cane like it's a scepter.
Scepter.
Yeah, it was a good time. Hoping we'll do it again. We're here too terribly long. And here's me and my old chief. He wanted a couple of books, so I brought him some books.
Oh, there you go.
It was a good time. They have really good shepherd's pie. I just wish there was more of it. I mean, it's like this little bitty skillet about yay big. I'm like, come on, man, what are you saving it for?
Keep it coming back for more.
That's right. I mean, a portion about twice that size would be real nice. Mark Napier says you have a scepter now. I have a noggin knocker. I mean, that thing will knock a knot on somebody's head.
Well, you could carry my Cobra one around and feel like Jafar.
In case I decide to get all stabby.
Yeah. Irish scepter.
So, anybody else got any other questions, or do you want me and Steve to ramble on? Because I've got plenty to ramble about. I was just kind of watching for questions. One of my favorite characters that I have introduced into the stories, I really enjoy writing him is Margolin. That guy is such a smart ass. Sometimes when I'm like writing a scene, even I will stop and look at the page like, where the hell did that come from? He's one of those characters that constantly surprises me. I'm like, where did that statement come from? That little idiot.
See, I think that Margolin is the one that's actually based on you.
Well, might be more truth to that than you know. In briefing, and when I was a deputy, whenever we'd have shift briefing, I was generally the one that had the smart ass comments in the back of the room.
That sounds about right.
We were playing Marco Polo on the radio one night, and my lieutenant gets on the radio, goes, "Knock it off, 829." I'm like, how the hell do they know it was me? We were bored in the middle of the night. Margolin the Snake Eater, yeah, he kind of proved that in Operation Lily. Margolin's a fun character, though. I mean, he's also kind of a tragic character. You get a glimpse of that in the codename in Apex Predator Horned Moon. Before Grey Eagle leaves to go on leave, him and Margolin have a conversation. You kind of get a glimpse into Margolin's past. And I'm going to do a short story just based on that. It's going to be Margolin and Valkyrie talking when he finally breaks down and tells somebody the full story of what happened with that event. So I don't want to give too much away if you haven't read Horned Moon. But Margolin, for as much as he acts like a big goofy idiot, he's got kind of a tragic past. Mark says, when I read Margolin, I thought he knows my buddy Mike. Yeah, Margolin's an Army Ranger, and Clark is 5th Special Forces, Green Berets. So those two get along anyway. And Margolin, I thoroughly enjoy some of the smart ass comments that he pops off with, because he even surprises me sometimes. Another one that surprises me is Micah. From the Apex Predator books. Sometimes he'll say something, I'm like, that was out of left field. I don't even know where I came up with that one at. Richie Evans says, if it's made with steak meat, then it's not a true shepherd's pie. It must be lamb. The one that Downing Street Poorhouse is made with lamb, and it is delicious. And those little medallion onions, oh, so good. I wish I had the recipe for that. I'd like to be able to make that at home, because then I would eat more of it.
Because we all need us to do that. Eat more of what we
I know. I need to lose weight, but shepherd's pie is my kryptonite.
Oh, it's good stuff.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, if it's made with steak meat or hamburger, it's just a cottage pie. Or you can make it with anything. You can make it with chicken or pork or whatever you've got on hand. But it's just a very hearty meal. Lenita says, too sleepy to concentrate tonight. As you can see by my typing. Night, everyone. Catch you later. Lenita, thank you for joining us. Hope you have a good night.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to get some Guinness there now.
Yeah.
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 You know, I love when the guy was trying to offer you an IPA. That was one of the best D.A. Roberts moments I've ever had.
Hey, we've got somebody joining us from Brazil. Persiog 91. Well, thank you for joining us. Yeah, that's really not our thing. We kind of do more cryptids and horror stories. So sorry, that's generally not something we delve into. We don't tackle any political issues. We stay pretty apolitical. Kelly Wilkinson says most Green Berets are very cool characters. Anyone that has an LZ in the middle of a lion's pride and can keep it together has to be cool. Yeah. Sometimes your drop zone is not exactly in the best of places. I've heard some horror stories from some of my buddies that were airborne.
Yeah, anybody that commutes to work by being thrown out of an airplane or a helicopter. We don't mess with those guys.
We should get some Saturday night. We should get Rick Olshafer on, get him to come on and talk, because I would like him to talk about camouflaging techniques and about how it is possible for someone with his talent to just vanish in the woods and as if he just disappeared before your eyes.
Oh, well, he and I lived together for a while, and he was when I was going through my first divorce. He was my roommate, and he could disappear at our house. It was creepy as hell, and he delighted in messing with me by doing so. And one of his favorite tricks was to disappear and then shoot me in the back with a paintball gun.
I wish I'd thought of that earlier. I wish we'd have gotten a hold of him before the show and invited him on. Because he'd be a hoot and a half to have on here and to get him to talk about basically camouflage techniques and how to move silently in the woods. Because getting the perspective of a trained sniper on how he can disappear in thick foliage or even empty field, I think that would share some really good perspectives on how cryptids do it. Werewolf says, I'm out. Good night. Werewolf 5674, man, have a good night. Kelly says that's a good idea. I think that'd be a great idea. Yeah. Mark Napier says use of shadow and terrain. Yeah, we should, once you reach out to Rick sometime here in the next few days, and maybe we can get him on next Saturday and talk about it.
Oh, I think that'd be a real good stuff going on, but I'll reach out to him and see if he'd be interested. Plus, he's a hoot and a half by himself.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's a cool dude to talk to. But it would be cool to really I can ask him questions like, are you now or have you ever been a Bigfoot? Okay, now that we've established that, I want you to talk about
Yeah. And you could share some Scotch suggestions, because most of the Scotch, the good Scotch recommendations I've gotten from him.
One thing I will definitely say he's a qualified expert on is whiskey and weapons.
Oh my Lord, yes.
Yeah, that's something we've definitely got to do. I think he'd be a really good one to have on as a guest to make an interesting counterpoint to the arguments about how things can disappear in the woods. Yeah, we've got to do that. That's a kind of, like I said, I wish I'd have thought of it earlier. Let's see. I'm currently still working on not Apex. I'm working on Lakeview Man 3. That's progressing okay. I haven't been able to get much writing done since the accident. I've got a mid-grade headache just constantly. So it's been a little tough to focus and write, but I'm hoping I'll be able to work through that before too long. I've been working on a short story called Dog Soldier, which I'm pretty proud of. I think you guys are really going to like that. And I think I think you're gonna like Dog Soldier once it's released with the other collection of short stories. Um, and I've still got the new sci-fi Man's Marauders book one of that. That one's going to be that one's going to be fun. I'm close to 20,000 words into that one, and the new fantasy project that's going to be called the first book is going to be called Heart of Iron. It's book one of the Blood and Redemption trilogy. I'm pushing 30,000 words into that. So over the next month or so, hopefully I can finish some of these projects and get these books out and have a bunch of stuff for you guys to read prior to Christmas. So that's the plan anyway.
You're just thinking of ways for people to spend their Christmas cards they get from Amazon.
Hey, heck yeah. Well, Josh isn't here, and I don't know how to run the Nightbot giveaway, so I don't know if we'll do a card tonight, but we need to do one soon. But without Josh, I don't know how to run the Nightbot giveaway.
We are technologically impaired.
Yeah, I'm kind of a Luddite. I'm actually more like Alan Grant on Jurassic Park. I start messing with it and it stops working. Mark, maybe you should just talk to the Beast of the Woods guys and Sawdust Beast about that. Yeah, we may have had the opportunity to do that real soon. So I don't want to announce anything yet, but yeah, we'll may have a top opportunity to talk to those guys here in the very near future. Richie Evans says, I would love to snipe better and train my eyes better. Yeah, definitely. I wear bifocals now, so my days of long distance shooting are behind me. But I'm still pretty wicked at distances less than 250 meters.
Fun to go shooting.
Oh God, yeah. I need to get out to the range. We need to make a range day before too long. Kelly Wilkinson says no need for a giveaway. I'm here for the gummy bear talk.
Oh Lord,
you're never going to live that down, Steve.
No. And the funny thing is, I was at work the other day, and I was just dragging anchor. I couldn't wake up, and so I ran down to the cafeteria and I bought an energy drink. And I always try to try the new flavors if I see a new can of something there, because I drink a lot of those things being a nurse. And I grabbed a new flavor of Monster, and it was a Monster Rain, and it was a white gummy bear flavor. And I was sitting there staring at the can for a while, and somebody's looking at the can with me and like, well, it's white gummy bears. You can't go wrong. It's going to be great. I said, but these are sugar-free drinks. So it's literally a sugar-free white gummy bear. I'm like, there's some bad juju there.
No kidding.
And, but I drank it and it was delicious. And, working around a bunch of doctors and nurses, I was saved from anything too horrible.
Yeah, once in a while I'll get a hankering for an energy drink, but I try to stay away from those things because they do unpleasant things to my blood pressure.
Well, blood pressure and heart. I was having trouble with one of our pulse oximeters one night, and we're trying to get the thing to work right. And so I put it on myself, so one of my coworkers could fiddle with the machine, and they're like, "Your heart rate's 125." Yep. What were you doing? Sitting. Drinking a bang.
Probably not good for you at that point. Chris Miller says it would be awesome to have some new books from you by Christmas. I have a week off then. Well, I will try not to disappoint. I will try to have a few options for you there. Sal says, not a cryptid question, but have any of you seen the movie Last of the Dogmen with Tom Berenger as a bounty hunter that encounters a band of Cheyenne Indians called the Dog Soldiers? Yeah, that's a great movie. But the Dog Soldiers were actually across more than one tribe. The Lakota Dog Soldiers were called the Hotametaneo, and that's actually the basis for my Apex Predator books. It starts off based on that legend. It is a really good movie. If you guys haven't seen Dog Soldiers, Last of the Dogmen. I mean, if you haven't seen Last of the Dogmen, that's a really good one. But Dog Soldiers is really good too. But that's a whole different kettle of wax. That's a British werewolf film set in Scotland, and it's really good.
So yeah, I want to watch it just to hear the dialogue in Scottish, with the, as they're talking about things.
It has one of the best lines ever. This is not a direct quote because I don't remember the verbatim quote, but it's to this extent. One of the werewolves is about to eat one of the British soldiers, and he looks him in the eye and says, "I hope I give you the shits." It's one of the main characters in Dog Soldiers is the guy that plays Alfred in Gotham.
Oh, Sean Pertwee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's one of the main characters. I think he plays a sergeant major in that regiment.
Oh, he's
really
a great
good
actor.
And if you haven't seen Dog Soldiers, dude, you need to watch it. Really good.
Well, I started watching him in Gotham just because I found out that he was the son of John Pertwee, the Doctor Who.
Cool.
The third Doctor Who, and he's a phenomenal actor. He makes a very scary young Alfred.
Yeah, he certainly brings an element of danger to Alfred. There's another really good British werewolf movie. It's called Howl, and I think it's on. I think it's either on Netflix or Amazon Prime. I think it's Prime. Annette and I watched it just a few weeks ago, and it was really good. The transformation scenes are kind of in the distance. You don't really see anybody actually transform, but the creature effects are pretty good, and the plot itself is pretty damn creepy. I know for me, one of the big payoffs of any werewolf movie is the transformation scenes, but they kind of hint that in Howl that the transformations only happen once. Like once they're infected, they turn and they don't turn back, which is kind of a cool idea. Northwoods, man, thank you for joining us. Have a good night, man.
Have you seen the remake of The Wolfman?
With
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, yes, that was really good.
Yeah,
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, I think that was very interesting. I really enjoyed that.
I'm generally not a fan of Benicio del Toro's because he's kind of a terrible actor, but he did a pretty good job in that. He's so wooden. I mean, just like
he goes from wooden to being like Shatner, and
wooden to ham-fisted.
I think there's a scene in there where he's strapped to a chair, and this psychiatrist is, basically poking fun at his delusions of turning into a wolf and everything. And he's there in like an autopsy theater, and he transforms and then proceeds to kill the psychiatrist and everybody else that was there. And I was like, yep, that needed to happen.
Hey, I got an interesting game we can play with the everybody that's listening tonight. Everybody pop in, and we'll see what everybody's favorite choice is. If you could choose an actor to play the role of Daniel Clark, who would you pick? Steve, go ahead. We'll see what everybody. We'll see what you say. Then everybody else says. Then I'll see what. Then I'll say mine.
That'll be a tough one. I'm trying to think because I'm wanting somebody fairly small but tough. I'm drawing a blank. I can't think. I'll circle back to me.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep thinking.
Anybody in the audience want to chime in on who they would pick to play Daniel Clark from Lakeview Man and Codename Wild Hunt? I don't want to let the crickets go too long. Me personally, I would, if I could pick an actor, modern day, to play Daniel Clark, I think I would probably pick Jensen Ackles from. Bruce Willis is way too old. Kelly, I appreciate. Bruce Willis was a great action star in his day, but he's way too old to play Daniel Clark. I think Jensen Ackles from Supernatural would do a good job.
Yeah, he's got the right level of smartassery. He could pull it off.
Yeah, and he's not like a super huge guy. Mark Napier says Gerard Butler. I could kind of see that. Actually, I think Gerard Butler would probably be a better Gideon.
Yeah.
I think Gerard Butler would be a great Gideon.
Yeah, I could see that. Trying to think. I had somebody in mind, and it left me as quick as I thought of it.
Oh, Mark Napier says, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think Gerard Butler would be a great Gideon." Kelly Wilkins says, "This is rank of 04." Yeah, as a major.
Oh, she's or he is implying that Bruce Willis, wouldn't be that old to be a major.
Yeah, Bruce Willis has got to be pushing 70. Let me Google him. Because I know he's up there. I mean, back when he played in that old TV show Moonlighting, I think he was in his 30s then. Yeah, let's see. He was born in 1955. So yeah, he's 66 years old. A little old for Daniel Clark. Daniel Clark's probably late 30s, early 40s, maybe. Amy says he's notoriously difficult on set. Jensen Ackles or Bruce Willis? Because I can kind of see it either way. Mark Napier says Bruce is old for an operator. Yeah, he would. Yeah, I could see Bruce Willis playing General Dalton. I could see that. He'd have to work on his thick drawl, though. Jamie says Bruce Willis. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Let's see who else. How about Margolin? Chris Miller says Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner for Clark or for Margolin?
Jeremy Renner would be a good Clark.
Yeah, he would. Jeremy Renner's a really good actor.
Yeah, well, and
don't say Ryan Reynolds for Margolin. He's the obvious choice. Margolin Deadpool. Sean Bush says, I've been told I resemble Nicolas Cage. Not much of a compliment, unless you're trying to steal the Declaration of Independence, and it's okay.
I love it.
We can't have Sean Bean play any of the characters because they would die.
Sean Bean is actually one of the two I was thinking of for Hammond when I first was reading the story. And the other one I was thinking of was, what is the actor's name? He was in Saving Private Ryan. He played the Sergeant Horvath in there.
Danny.
No, he was like the right-hand man for Captain Miller.
Yeah.
Hell.
I know who you're talking about, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, he played in what was it, Species that he was in? And
Tom Sizemore?
Thank you. Yes, Tom Sizemore. He was the one I was thinking of.
Sean Bustard says Cole Hauser. Cole Hauser? Who's Cole Hauser? Why do I know him? I know that name. Cole Hauser. I know I'm going to slap myself. Oh, yeah, he's a good actor. I don't know if he's the right cut of the jib for Margolin, but he would be I think Cole Hauser would do good as Levi Saunders.
Yeah, that could work.
I think he'd be good for Levi. Ricardo Ferrer says, I feel like Jensen A would be good into it too. He would be my first choice if I got to cast it. It would be a tough one to pick one for Margolin though.
You got to find something for Martin Freeman to play, because I love him to death.
He's pretty awesome. Who's the actor in Law Abiding Citizen that played? I think that is. We just talked about him. Gerard Butler. I think that's Gerard Butler. Cole Rip from Yellowstone. Yeah. Huh. I just heard a dog. Was that yours or mine?
It's probably mine. Key and I's having a fit right now.
Tom Hardy is a good actor. I would like to see him in just about anything. He also plays a pretty good smartass. Tom Hardy is one of those guys that just immerses himself in the role. Just becomes the character. I've been thinking a lot about who would play Valkyrie, and I got to thinking maybe Katie Sackhoff.
That could work.
I could see Katie Sackhoff playing Valkyrie. She does do action scenes very well. Richie says, how about the boss in SEAL Team TV show also played VIP? SEAL Team, I think is that Clint Eastwood's kid that plays in SEAL Team?
It is. I can't remember what his first name is.
I know it. Well, David Bereniaz is in it. He's good. Maybe it's not Eastwood. Maybe it's Bereniaz I'm thinking of. I like David Bereniaz. He'd be a good Levi or Clark, either one. He's about the right age. Yeah, who are we thinking? I was trying to think of Eastwood's son, but I can't think of his first name. But he's a good actor. Have you seen the movie The Outpost that he's in? It's about the Battle of Cop Keating in Afghanistan. It's about one of the most historically accurate war movies I've ever seen. They actually had men that fought in the battle. One of them actually played himself in the movie, but they had men that fought in the battle were actually on the set as advisors for the movie. And the Battle of Cop Keating in Afghanistan is the first time since World War II that more than one Congressional Medal of Honor has been awarded in a single fight.
Wow.
That movie will blow your mind. It is intense. Scott Eastwood and Martin Napier nailed that. I could not remember his first name.
Yeah. And what's the film called again?
It's called The Outpost.
The Outpost.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I mean, if you get a chance to watch that, Jason Momoa for Kodiak's character, yeah, I could kind of see that.
I think it fits.
Yeah, it's pretty fitting.
I could see him turning into a damn bear.
I kept trying to think of his name. Played Superman. Is on The Witcher.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. I'd like to see Henry Cavill play the character that I have introduced later in the Codename Wild Hunt books. God, I'm trying to think of his name.
The one with the broadsword.
Yeah, I'd like to see him play. I'm driving me crazy. I forget the names of my own characters. He's British SAS. Drawing a complete blank. I hate
That's where I'm at too.
I've got so many characters floating through my head. I can't keep them all straight. Give me just a moment, and I will have that though. As I have documents that I put together that allow me to keep all of the cast of the team together.
And who's alive?
Yeah, who's alive? Well, for every book I have that same list, but it's an evolving list for each book. And in the current book that I'm writing, I'll have the list up on one screen, and as I'm writing scenes, if somebody buys it, I highlight that person in yellow, and at the end I make a new list with replace those, and that moves on to the next book for the document. Give me just a second. There, that's the one I need. Sorry, it's a big document. Noah Davidson. Now, Warrant Officer Noah Davidson. He's on loan to the Wild Hunt from the British Special Reconnaissance Regiment. And there's more to him than meets the eye, too. He's one of those characters that has an interesting history. I haven't discussed that with hardly anybody, though. I know what his origin is. I just don't know if I want to tell anybody yet. It's going to be
I don't know the story on that one.
Yeah, that one's going to be interesting when it gets revealed. I may have to tell you at some point, unless you just want to figure it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind hearing it over a pint of something.
Well, we could probably be arranged. If you guys have read the most recent, the third installment of the Codename Wild Hunt and Lakeview Man 2. I'm sorry, not Lakeview Man 2. Apex Predator Horned Moon, where I introduced the triplets from the Vatican, the Giovanni triplets. If you guys are familiar with them, I had a question for everybody, because this is something I've been kicking around and I haven't decided. I don't know which way I want to go with this. I know I like those characters. I haven't decided if I want to keep them with Wild Hunt or give them their own series. Because they're from the Vatican team called the Fraternitatem Vigilantium, the Brotherhood of the Vigilant.
Bill Sloan's got some input on Davidson for you.
Bill Sloan, I just took it for granted that Davidson was a Templar. Close, but not quite. Not quite. Yeah, that's very close, though. Hooter transports his own series. Bigfoot Don says, "What's up, everybody? Camping in Mayaka tonight?" Dude, you're camping in the Mayaka area? Take lots of pictures, man. I'd love to see it, especially if you can get some skunk ape shots. Mayaka is the perfect place, the habitat to find skunk ape. In fact, one of the most famous images taken of a skunk ape is called the Mayaka skunk ape, and it's a hot spot down the Florida region for skunk apes.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Mark Napier says Catherine Winnick is Valkyrie. I'm going to have to look her up because I don't know who she is.
Excuse me.
Bless you, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, what's her name? Catherine Winnick. Oh, Valkyrie. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Valkyrie playing Valkyrie. Yeah, I could see her. She played Lagertha on Vikings. Yeah, she would be dead on perfect for Valkyrie. I don't know why I didn't think of her. Yeah, she would be awesome as Valkyrie. Great choice there. Ivy says, "Hi, Richie." Russ Miller says own series. Mark Napier says, yeah, she played Lagertha. I knew her name. I'm like, why do I know that name? Vikings was a great series. Yeah, she would be perfect for Valkyrie. I mean, I think that's a dead on lock. If I can get Netflix to pick this series up, that's the one I want. That's it. Nobody else. Kelly, you're not wrong. You are not incorrect, sir. So we got one vote for their own series.
Hey, I'm happy if they're just continue to be written.
I'm not getting rid of the characters. I like the characters too much, but I was really torn on whether or not to continue to utilize them as part of the wild hunt, and because they're not a real great fit, because they're not military, and of course Matthias is so used to doing exactly what he wants to do all the time, and which put him at odds with Clark. But I think they would be better suited to their own series. So looks like I'm going to have to be adding another series to the works. Why do I do that to myself? Why do I keep creating more work for myself? Sal says, sorry guys, meds are kicking in. Yeah, I am a glutton for punishment. Sal, have a great night, man. Thank you for joining us. I've got such a wide variety of characters to choose from in Codename Wild Hunt. To have strong characters like the Giovanni triplets and not be able to give them front and center face time because I've got so many other main characters too is kind of a disservice to the characters. So I think giving them their own series is probably the best idea.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That is kind of a cool name for a series, Fraternitatum Vigilantium.
Yeah, or even the English version of it as
the Brotherhood of the Vigilant.
As Brotherhood of the Vigilant would catch somebody's attention on the bookshelf.
I think so. If they cast anybody from the Apex Predator books, there's a lot of Native American actors out there that are just really great actors. There's so many to choose from. The hardest one for me to be cast White Bear.
Well, you got, a clear person in mind with White Bear, your Uncle Buddy. So it's nobody's going to be him.
Yeah. But there's one in particular that I had in mind to play the character, and I'm trying to remember his name. It's driving me nuts because I can't think of it.
Yeah, I had a Gray Eagle cast in my head. For when I watched Jonathan Mayberry's V-Wars series. I gotta find the actor again.
Wes Studi is who I kind of have in mind.
Oh, for
White Bear. Ivy Ray says, I just finished your Ragnarok series, and I've now read all of your series. When's the new book coming out? Hopefully very soon. I've got several projects in the works. They kind of got put on the back burner from recent events over the last couple of weeks, but I'm trying to get back into getting things back in motion. It's been kind of a struggle for me. Sean Bussard says, who was the guy on Wind Talkers? I'm trying to remember his name too.
So, for Gray Eagle, I was thinking Michael Gray Eyes.
He's a good actor. Great actor. The guy from Wind Talkers was Adam Beach. He's a good actor. I wouldn't mind seeing him play Gray Eagle either. I think he'd be a good Micah, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talented actors out there. There's so many characters to cast, and I've got so many characters I would love to see. I would love to fantasy cast, but it's just, so many actors, so little time. Trying to think if there's anybody else. We figured out who we'd want for Gideon, and Valkyrie was a great choice. I like that. For Colonel Boudreaux, Lucien Boudreaux, the overall command of the Midwest region. I kind of when I designed the character, I kind of envisioned Idris Elba. Just that presence he brings. When we lost Sean Connery was, in my opinion, the coolest guy in the world. I always said that if I was ever a movie star, I wouldn't do a role until I cleared it with Sean Connery. But now Now that Sean's gone, I did think long and hard about who the new coolest guy in the world is to me, and I'd have to say Idris Elba. That guy is just so freaking cool.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
I love him. He's awesome in anything he does.
Give me like 2 minutes. I'm gonna step away for a second.
Okay, not a problem. Well, does anyone oh Rich says I need Sal's meds. Lou Diamond Phillips would be a good choice. I think if I had to cast Lou Diamond Phillips, he would be a toss up to go for White Bear as well, because he's kind of up there in age now. I think I want to say he's in his 50s or early 60s. So Lou Diamond Phillips might be a good one for White Bear as well. But I really like Wes Studi for the role. But I know we could find something for Lou Diamond Phillips. I'll tell you who else I would like to find a spot for is Zan McLaren. He is a fantastic actor. He was in Longmire. Have you ever watched Longmire?
I haven't.
You'd know him if you saw him because he's played in a lot of stuff. In fact, when he was younger, he played in Last of the Mohicans. Really good actor. I like the character. I like the actor a lot. But I would definitely have to find a role for him because I really like Zahn McLaren. Graham Greene's another good choice, but we're talking, the older generation of Native American actors. Some of these characters aren't that old, but yeah, just fantastic characters that I would like to see show up in the books. Richie says, "Who did the Nav guy who played in Navajo Talkers in World War II?" That was Adam Beach. Yeah, he's an awesome actor. In fact, Annette and I just watched Cowboys and Aliens yesterday for the first time. I'd never seen it. And Adam Beach is in that. He played a really good role. And have you seen Cowboys versus Aliens?
Yes.
Yeah, I went into that thinking this is gonna be stupid, but it had Harrison Ford, so I thought, yeah, it'll be all right. And then I started watching the cast of characters. I'm like, Adam Beach, oh, Clancy Brown, oh. So I started getting excited when I started seeing some of the names that were in, and it was actually a really good movie.
Clancy Brown wouldn't be a bad one for Hammond either.
Oh yeah, Clancy would be a great Hammond. I love that deep voice of Clancy Brown's. Sean Buster says, wasn't he the reservation cop? Yeah, he was on Longmire. Zahn McLaren played. His name slips.
I remember the name of the characters.
Yeah, it was from in Longmire. He played. It's been a while since I watched Longmire. I can't remember his character's name, but he was the chief of the reservation police. Great actor. Zahn McLaren's a fantastic actor. What were you going to say, Steve? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just thinking Clancy Brown. He has that right mix of serious, and he can cut up. I'm picturing him, griping about his, drinking whiskey on the job and getting busted by his wife for dipping into the snuff, and
Yeah, that would be kind of a good fit for him. And I love Clancy Brown. I mean, he's a great actor.
Oh, yeah. I've liked him ever since I saw him in The Shawshank Redemption.
I've liked him since Highlander.
Oh, yeah, that's right, the Kurgan. Wow.
And it just cracks me up that he's the voice of Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob, too.
Truth.
Yeah. Clearly, he doesn't take himself all that seriously.
No, he... he's great in that too. I love SpongeBob.
Matthias. Yeah, my wife chimed in. Annette chimed in. He played Zahn McLaren played Matthias. I've got to watch Longmire again. I love that series so much. I actually got to have the chance to talk to several times Craig Johnson that writes the Longmire mysteries. Hell of a nice guy. He's given me some really good pointers on my own writing. And anytime I've ever messaged the guy, he gets right back to me. I mean, I kind of stumbled into being friends with him on Facebook and sent him a message one time just on a lark to see if he would answer me. And yeah, we've had several really good conversations. I haven't had a chance to meet the man. But I'd like to go up to Wyoming to Longmire days and actually get to meet the guy.
You've got to find with all those Native American characters, find a way to use Shane Moore.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, he'd be perfect.
He could do Micah.
Yeah, he definitely could do Micah.
That would be absolutely awesome.
Although, if you could, and I know they've done it before, have one actor play two roles.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring up the picture again. God, I shouldn't have deleted it. What a dummy. I will have it just in a moment. So I know it's not very far down here. What the heck? Did I lose them? My fault for deleting them, I guess. I took it out of, I didn't think I'd need it again. But like I was saying, you know how they sometimes have one actor play more than one part?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the Apex Predator books, there are two brothers who are twins.
Mm-hmm.
What I refer to as the Mohawk twins because they're from the Mohawk tribe. That's why I'm looking for that picture of Shane, because I it would be awesome to have him play both of them.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
That would be fantastic. He'd do it too, I guarantee you. He'd do it just because he thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's true. He would do it simply because it serves his sense of humor.
Yeah. Well, now I don't know what I did with the pictures. Oh, they're there. There's one. Let me upload it. If you've read all the Apex Predator books, think of the Mohawk twins, and then
There you go.
He'd be perfect. So now we fantasy cast Shane Moore as the twins. That would be a hoot and a half.
He's just got such a quick wit to him. And,
he's a very sharp guy.
Yeah, he'd be a lot of fun. You don't paint any of your characters as idiots. I mean, even Margolin, as much as we give the character shit, he's an intelligent guy.
Oh, he's not an idiot. He just acts like one.
Yeah, he just got that sense of humor.
Richie says, "What about the guy from the unit, Dennis Haysbert?" Yeah, he would be a good actor for any role. If you couldn't get Idris Elba to play Boudreaux, Haysbert would be great for that. I would like to find one of the roles. Probably there's the Team 3 commander, for Team Odin. His name is Gabe Elliott, Captain Gabriel Elliott. I would like Aldous Hodge to play him. Aldous Hodge was from Leverage. He's been in a lot of other projects. Just a fantastic actor. I love that guy. It'd be amazing to have him on the set. Of course, we're talking a fictional set that has never been created. So hopefully, someone out at Netflix gets wind of this and like, hey,
it's like, yeah, we gotta find this,
and we've got to make this happen. Like, heck yeah, you do. Why do the people from Netflix sound like Dave Mann?
That's what I was just about to ask.
That
would be wonderful.
Bill Sloan says the Mohawk twins had me laughing so hard when they were singing the Go Go Gopher song. I have no idea why that came to me. I needed them to do something goofy while they were in a tunnel. And I'm thinking, well, they're going through a tunnel. What goes through tunnels but gophers? And then the Go Gophers popped in my head. I'm like, go Gophers, watch them go. Sean, you heading out? You have a good night, man. Jacob Hayes says, hi there, DA. Good night, friend. Have to go to bed soon. Thanks for the live video. Anytime, man. Thank you for spending time with us. Appreciate you hanging out.
Yeah, getting inside the head of D.A. Roberts is a scary place.
Yeah, yeah. Richie Evans says, or the guy from Stargate, the guy that played Teal'c, Christopher Judge, he's fantastic. Oh, he's a good actor. He does the voice of Kratos from the God of War series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Christopher Judge is a great actor. I like him a lot too.
Well, even Michael Dorn would work. He's getting to that age right now. He'd make a good.
Yeah, then he's got that Worf voice. Even without it, people will be like, oh, "It's Worf, it's Worf." But yeah, there's a lot of those characters from Wild Hunt that a lot of those actors could play.
That his voice has permanently been lowered from playing that role. His real voice is like a baritone, and he did that basso profundo voice for so long that it dropped his actual speaking voice.
I will always remember the episode where Q on Star Trek Next Generation, where Q made them act out the Robin Hood and his merry men, and you've got Worf as Will Scarlet. Captain, I protest. I am not a merry man. Yeah, no kidding. We know you're not a merry man.
Yeah, he is so funny by his utter lack of humor.
Yeah, he was the perfect straight man for the jokes.
Well, he played opposite Jonathan Frakes so well because Frakes is a cut up.
And Brent Spiner, oh my God!
Oh,
between those two, I'm amazed they got any work done.
Oh my God! I was watching a behind the scenes interview with him and Brent Spiner talking about Star Trek Picard, and it was absolutely hysterical. And especially since I think Brent Spiner was either drunk or high in the interview, which made it even funnier. But I can't get over the fact that he's my father's age. And I was like, how is this? He was older than the part when he played the part.
Mm-hmm. So Spiner's a very good actor. He pulls it off well. Kelly Wilkinson says, what about that kid from Springfield, Missouri, Brad Pitt? Any production of my books probably couldn't afford him, but I don't know. I don't know who he would play. He's one of those actors that's kind of above the age most guys are still in the military. So it'd be interesting. He says, Kelly Wilkinson says you could use your Homer card to get him. Yeah, I don't think him and I run in the same circles. I mean, we may both be from Springfield, but I think they're the similarities in. He lives in one of those gated communities that keep people like me out.
That's okay. Just go to the door, tell him you're Larry the Cable Guy or something, and get that conversation started.
Kelly Wilkinson says he's done everything. It would probably just do it because it would be a fun role. Just saying the lips.
Lord.
Yeah, there's a lot of roles that could be cast. That would be a hoot and a half. That would be a lot of fun to be able to actually say, hey, we got a Netflix deal. We got to start looking into actually casting these roles. That would be such a dream come true to be able to do like that.
Oh, Lord. Play on your lips.
Richie Evans says that was in the first season, I believe, in Star Trek.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The whole timeline with Star Trek messes with my world. Knowing now that Will Wheaton is the same age that Patrick Stewart was when he started playing Picard.
Yeah, that's kind of off-putting. That doesn't bear thinking about too much because then I have to examine my own age.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, Star Trek: The Next Generation came on in 1986. It didn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was 86. I was 10 years old. It's no wonder they're all so old.
Yeah. AJ Congdon just said Robert Beltran from Voyager. He's another good actor. There's a number of characters he could play that have showed up in the books. Casting some of the some of the, well, we had the perfect, I found the perfect one for Valkyrie, but casting somebody like Amanda Clark, she'd be a tough one to cast. I don't even know who I would even, off the top of my head, I would even think of. That is a good question. I don't watch a whole lot of modern movies anymore, but I wonder who we would cast for her. Of course, that I love doing that because it also gives me the ability to greater when we do these fantasy casts. When I see these different actors, it gives me a much more vivid mental image to draw on when I'm writing the characters. So this is actually a great mental exercise for me as well. Yeah, Richie says hit the like button. Yeah, if you guys have hit that like and subscribe button, share the video with all your friends. I appreciate you guys, supporting the channel like that, and it really helps us get our name out there and helps us grow. And thank you guys for everybody jumping in tonight talking about different characters, because like I said, it does really give me a good mental image to draw on when I'm writing these characters. I know what I see in my head, but when I can put an actor to that role, it really gives me a much easier image to draw on, and then I can concentrate on action and less on the actual image of the character. So it's actually kind of a fun exercise for me. It does help out quite a bit. Let's see. Amanda Clark, or hey, who would you cast as Logue?
Honestly, let me think of his name real quick here.
And then I'll let you say, and then I'll tell you who I thought of.
I was thinking, honestly, with some of the sarcasm, Tom Hiddleston.
That would be a good choice. Tom Hiddleston is a good choice. I actually thought of his name was completely Colin Farrell. That's who I thought of when I created the character.
That could work.
But Tom Hiddleston would be a good choice too. He's a good actor, but he's not Irish. He's very British.
Yeah, but I mean, he could do the accent though.
Oh, he does accents very well.
It honestly, it was funny when you first mentioned it. If he were younger, and that's probably because of the similarities in the name, I actually thought of Donald Logue playing, him back in his days, like when he was on, what was the name of the show? Terriers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, he's actually an Irish actor. He uses an American accent for everything.
It was that actor, Donald Logue. I like that actor, and I stole his last name for the character of Logue.
Funny.
But I described him differently because I wasn't going to actually use that exact image, but I liked the name Logue because it rhymes with rogue. And he is kind of a devilish rogue.
Yeah, literally. Let's see.
Sorry.
Actors.
My allergies are tearing me up this week. Richie Evans says Claudia Black in Stargate in season 7 or 8. I need to look her up. I don't know who she is.
Cillian Murphy. There you go. He could do a creepy Logue.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Claudia Black's not bad. I mean, I know who she is now that he said it. I mean, I was like he said the name. I'm like, because I didn't recognize her from Stargate, because I didn't remember from that. But now that I see her, I've seen her in other roles. She'd probably do a pretty good job. Mark Napier says Colin Farrell was 45. Well, 45 is not that bad, especially considering he's playing a vampire that is much older than that.
Oh, that's true.
And Colin Farrell doesn't really look 45. He's one of those guys that at 65 will still look 45.
Crap, I didn't realize that Cillian Murphy was my age also. He's 45.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I love him in
I thought
Peaky
he,
Blinders.
I thought he was younger than that.
He plays crazy well too. Remember him in the Batman? In Batman, was it
Oh,
the second one?
well, he was in the first one, and then
Yeah.
he did a reprisal of his role in the third one.
Yeah. Richie Evans says she was in Farscape. Yeah.
Oh, Jonathan Rhys Meyers, he would be a good one.
Who's he? What's he been in?
He was in. Let's see what else he's played in. He's been in a whole bunch of things.
I just Googled him. I don't think I've seen anything with him in it, or I don't recognize him.
He played the lead, Michael Collins. He played Great in Ride with the Devil.
Mm-hmm. I'm scrolling down through his pictures. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know that I've seen him in anything.
I've seen him in something else, and I can't remember what it was.
Like I said, I don't get a chance to watch much television or movies anymore. I mean, I try to spend as much time writing as I can. Oh yeah, I've really enjoyed doing this. This has been a hoot and a half. I like fantasy casting. And again, if anybody out there's got any contacts with Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything, like, hey, I know these books. This should probably be made into. I would be forever in your debt.
See, you need to find some friends that aren't in low places. That's
Well, I can't help it. That's kind of where I'm at.
Well, it was funny when I was reading the article about that shooting we were talking about earlier, the guys from Lebanon. And I was like, I bet you Doug knows him.
I might.
He would be inside your circle. Like he's your kid's age. But I was like, really?
That's insane.
Go to Springfield.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen in Springfield anymore. And Annette wonders why I want to live in a cabin in the woods, and she wants nothing to do with that. She wants to live on the beach. So we'll compromise and end up doing it her way, I know.
We'll compromise to live on the beach.
Yeah. I told her, I said, if we do that, though, I want a cabin in the woods where I can go right once in a while.
See, my wife is the opposite. She wants to go live in a cabin in the woods, and I'm okay with it.
Well, I think we'd probably go ahead and start wrapping things up for the night. We didn't really have a plan of attack when we came in this. My original plan was kind of wrecked when we had to reimagine the show for tonight when our guest wasn't able to do it at the last minute. But I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Steve, thank you, brother. I've had a good time. I've had a good time doing the fantasy cast. It's always fun. It really does inspire me to try to look at these characters in different ways. And I do think I'm gonna look into adding the series on the Brotherhood of the Vigilant. I'd like to have the Giovanni triplets, cut loose and able to do everything on their own. Sorry, guys. Kelly, thank you. He says you guys are great. Thank you, sir. You are awesome. And one of the things I love about doing this is it's not like we're doing like some wild live show. We're more just hanging out and talking and having a good time. And even when we do have guests, it's like we're just having a conversation and hanging out with everybody in the audience. It's kind of like sitting around discussing some of our creepier moments and crazier things and things we enjoy. And it's just a fun time, and I enjoy doing it.
We've had guests come on before and say that when they left, they felt like they found friends here.
Absolutely,
that's the goal.
I say that often. I don't feel like we have fans; we have friends, and I appreciate every one of you guys that have joined us here tonight. And we always have a wonderful time hanging out with y'all, and I look forward to doing it again for a long time to come. And again, if you guys have not checked out Dark Angel Medical, please do so. Swing by darkangelmedical.com, tell Carrie we sent you, and let him know that we sent you. Well, AJ says that closeness makes the shows awesome. Well, we appreciate it.
Thanks, AJ.
It's like hanging out with friends. It really is. And I've said it many times that writing is a journey that we take together. It's a journey that we take together, reader and writer, because without one, there wouldn't be a need for the other. And I'm so thankful that you guys have chosen to take this journey with me, with all of us. And it's a lot of fun, and it's something I hope that I can continue for many, many years to come, because I love telling stories and I love hanging out with good friends, and once in a while having a good glass of good whiskey. And whiskey is best when it's shared with friends. So hopefully Steve and I will be able to get back together soon and have a glass together. Oh, that's gotta happen. We need to go out and eat again too.
Well, the whiskey's got to happen soon, because it's going to get to the point where that 21-year-old whiskey is going to start losing its edge, and I hate to see that wasted.
Definitely. Well, we need to make that happen soon. But again, thank you guys for joining us so much. You guys haven't had a chance to check out my books yet, please check them out at daroberts.net. You can find everything that I've got available on Amazon. I've got multiple series out. I've got a zombie series called the Ragnarok Rising Saga. I have multiple cryptid series, from the Apex Predator series to the Codename Wild Hunt series, Lakeview Man series, Nightmare Hunter series. And it looks like it's going to be bringing in 2 other series in the cryptid universe. One's going to be called Project Olympus, which is kind of an offshoot of the Codename Wild Hunt series, and then looks like a Brotherhood of the Vigilant, about the Catholic cryptid team. So that should be a fun one to do as well. I've got my sci-fi series, which is the Lost Legion books, and then we're going to be adding in the Man's Marauders series that's going to be coming soon, and I've got a fantasy series coming soon as well. And this is something we've all done together, folks. It's all your encouragement and support that keep me writing these stories, and the wonderful friends I've made along the way that keep me wanting to tell these stories, because I get such amazing feedback from people, and I've got such a great support system of people that I consider family that have been there with me all for this strange and bizarre journey that has been my writing career. And I've made lifelong friends along this journey, and I'm thrilled to death. And Steve, love you, brother. Thank you for everything you've done. And thank you all of and there's going to be a lot more to come, I'm hoping. And thank you all. Thank you all for everything you guys have done. Kelly says no pizza talk. No, I'm not feeling pizza tonight. I'm just not. Ivy Ray says Ragnarok was so much more than a zombie book. Amazing villains. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like it, and I'm glad you've read the other books as well. Thank you guys so much. There's more to come, and I hope to have Richie's peanut whiskey.
Oh.
That sounds bizarre. I'd try it, but I don't know if it'd be any good or not, but I would definitely try it.
Try it once anyway.
Oh yeah. I'll try it once, twice if I like it. But again, thank you guys so much for all the support and all the fond wishes, and people that checked on me when we had the accident, and all the kind words and support. You guys are just the absolute best, and I'm blessed to know each and every one of you. So thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us tonight on DAX Machina. If you ever have an encounter of your own that you wish to discuss, contact us at daroberts@daroberts.net. You can remain completely anonymous if you wish. Pull your covers up tight and keep a nightlight burning bright. Oh, and did you forget to lock your doors?